Today I'd like to talk to you about when you should order your roses online and why you should order your roses online. Most of us like to go to the garden center or nursery and actually see the plants and purchase them that way. But there are a lot of good reasons to order online. The best time to order online is between mid-November and January, which is basically right now. That's when most of the nurseries have their roses for sale. I went online in October and all the roses looked like they had been sold out. So I was like, this isn't good. I want to have my roses that I want. And I realized that you really can't get your roses until they actually come out with the list for the spring, because what they had in October were the roses from the previous season. So this is for the new season going forward. What I suggest is making a list of the roses that you'd like and then using one or both of the following resources. The first resource is helpmefind.com, and I'll show you here. This is what it's going to look like when you pull it up. It's Help Me Find, and it has searches for roses and other plants. So I'm always looking up roses. You can click on here and you can have peonies and clematis, but I'm choosing roses, and I want to look up Pope John Paul. And so then I will click search, and here they give you a beautiful picture of Pope John Paul, which is a wonderful rose. But the thing I like about this website is it's gardeners that vote on this rose that actually grow it, and they give an excellent rating. When you get an excellent or good rating on this website, that's really good. So you really want to look at that to see how everybody rates it. Then it'll tell you who bred the rose, who introduced it, and when it was introduced. It also tells that it is a hybrid tea. It tells the color. And this is the other thing I really look for is the fragrance. And it has a strong citrus fragrance, which I like the citrus fragrance. So that's a plus for me. It has lots of petals, borne mostly on solitary bloom form. So you can cut this and put it into your vase, or you can, if you show roses, it's a good one for that as well. It talks about how tall and upright, and it's a medium glossy dark green foliage with 5 to 7 leaflets. It tells you the height. It tells you the zone that it is good in. This is the other important part that I really look for. The fact that it's very vigorous is good, and all roses prefer full sun, but that its disease susceptibility is very disease resistant. And I would recommend that you really look for the very disease resistant roses, because spraying is just not good for us, not good for the bees, not for the planet. So I think it's best if you can look for the disease-resistant roses. I recommend you go to this website. It's free. Now you can become a member, which I am. It's $24 for 1 year. It's a bargain, and it helps them keep this website up, and it's a great resource for you. The other resource that I have is the American Rose Society. I would recommend if you go in there, there's so much in terms of education and all kinds of resources, but I would go to their shop for this particular resource and go down to the 2023 Handbook for Selecting Roses. And if you're a member of the American Rose Society, you receive this handbook. And this kind of gives you an idea of the size of it. But I have these from way back in the 80s, and it's really a lot of information on all the roses that are for sale in North America. The handbook is compiled yearly by rosarians that grow the roses in their garden, and they rate them on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best. I suggest purchasing roses in the 8 and up rating. With my experience of 30 plus years, I've found that those roses typically do the best. You could baby some of the other ones that maybe don't have as good a rating, but you'd have to take some time to do that. The guide lists over 3,000 roses in commerce in North America, and each rose listed has a classification. Dainty Bess is right here, and it's a hybrid tea, light pink, single, and it was introduced in 1925. So they give you a whole list of information on each rose as you go through the guide. You'll notice that some of the roses won't have a rating next to them, but this is due to two different reasons. One is the roses did not earn a rating, but they're carried by nurseries, which lets you know that they're popular and people like those. New introductions haven't had an opportunity to be or to earn a rating. They aren't listed as well. When you are planning on getting roses online, you need to make sure when you order, you let the nursery know what growing zone you're in. Like I'm in zone 6, and I would not want my roses to come in December. I want my roses ideally to come the end of March, when things are dormant, but they're just gonna start growing. You know, the soil's gonna start warming up. So that's the perfect time for us to get our roses here. That way they just go right into the ground and don't even know that they've been shipped. You can order online and you can get either bare root roses or small own root roses. The difference between the bare root grafted rose and the potted own root rose, in simplest terms, is that the bare root rose comes without soil and looks like rose stems with roots, and the own root roses come in a pot with soil and is already leafed out. Both the bare root and the own root roses have their advantages. The bare root roses they're lighter and easier to handle, which makes them less expensive for shipping. They also can go immediately into the ground when they get delivered in the spring, giving them the advantage of establishing roots before the heat of the summer. The bare root roses are grafted, and the rose below ground is different from the rose above the ground because they actually just take the roots of, say, a Dr. Huey rose and put it on top the rose that you want. Say you want, a Double Delight. Then they graft that onto that rose root that's a Dr. Huey. And the reason they do that is the Dr. Huey is a very vigorous grower. And so the roots are going to really take hold, and this graft will make this rose, because it's living off the roots of the Dr. Huey, make it grow and get big. But it's also the reason why when you buy grafted roses, sometimes if we get a bad winter and you don't protect your rose, that graft can actually die. And once that graft dies, or the bud union dies, your Dr. Huey comes up, and it's kind of a muddy red color. It's pretty, but it only blooms once, and the rose that you actually purchased is no longer around. That gives you an idea of what the grafted roses are. The potted own root roses have the advantage of being the same plant below the ground and above the ground. And these roses are taken from cuttings. So they actually go out into the field, they take cuttings, they put root hormone on them, they put them into probably a misting bench of some type and grow them on so that they have roots. Those are the own root roses. What's great about those is that they really don't have to worry about the dieback, like I was talking about with the Dr. Huey and the grafted Double Delight. When the winter comes, if it kills everything down to the base of the rose, the roots are the roots of that original rose. So what comes out will still be the rose that you purchased. Now, one thing that you have to do with the potted roses or the own root roses is baby them a little bit the first year. And I'm not going to talk about that right now. I'll do another video on that, but it's well worth the time and effort to do that because it'll pay off dividends down the road for your garden. I wanted to mention too that the bare root roses and the own root roses each have the advantage of offering more variety for your choosing. So say you go to the nursery and somebody's bought up everything you want and there's just a little bit here and there, or they just don't carry what you want. You have a better chance right now of getting what you want going online and getting it ordered early. I know this is a lot of information, and I'm hoping that this helps you or gives you some guidance when you're looking to purchase roses this year. And remember to like, share, and subscribe if you like this video, and I'll see you next time.